Press the bell icon and never miss an update from Digital Hash.
My first question is to Vijay, and it'll come right now. 1 minute. Vijay, what led to the making of Comicstaan as an Amazon original series?
Is this a serious question?
It's a serious question, but please be funny as much as you guys want to.
I think it was absolutely awesome. I have to admit that, we started the spirit of partnership and we ended up with a family. So I don't think there's any better way to say it.
Oh, man. Kriti, I want to ask you this question. You've shot with live audiences before. What about the show that you shot for Comicstaan? Did that add more complexity than the 14 specials that you have been a part of before this?
I think from a production point of view, shooting with a live audience honestly is always a nightmare. But like I have learned over the years, thanks to you guys, that it's absolutely essential for the artist performing, and which is why we insisted on not getting a paid audience, but getting a ticketed audience. So these were actual comedy fans out there to watch people. And that was great. I mean, the contestants already have fans. And lastly, I have to thank these guys because the 1 or 2 times when we had technical glitches, they all took over and ensured that the audience wasn't bored and entertained them throughout, playing games and performing, and I think it was great.
I think a huge round of applause for Abish and Sumukhi for keeping this set alive, and even today for doing such a good job.
Actually, my question is to Biswa now. Biswa, hi. So,
Hi, what's up?
This is the first time you guys were on the other side of the table, judging the contestants. And how did you feel, Biswa?
It was where I felt very insecure because they were so good. I felt inadequate judging comedians. It was overall, I felt like I grew as a human being through the process.
Kanan, where would you take me on a date and why? Sorry, it just seemed like one of those shows.
Juhu Beach, morning.
You had me at Juhu.
Because all the party that's there.
You were part of the show as a judge, and I know how tough it is to judge people, especially on their craft in comedy. What made you take that decision and say yes to this particular show?
Because when I got asked to do the show, I realized I had a real passion for press conferences. So I said, will there be a press conference? They said yes. Then I said, I'm doing it! As long as there's a press conference. In all seriousness, it's honestly, it sounds like a bullshit answer, but it's such a good platform for upcoming talent, which I feel like when I was starting out, I wouldn't have made the show as a contestant. And it's a good platform for them to be seen and to develop fans on their own, because the kind of audience that Prime gets and the kind of legitimacy that's attached to the platform, I think not only just winning, just being a part of the competition will benefit the comedians in profound ways. This is all not including our awesome mentoring, by the way. Also, the pay is pretty good, so yes.
My next question is to you, Sapan.
Yes.
As an audience who are going to watch Comicstaan, what can they expect? And of course, the comedy show, etc., but...
Yeah. 2 things generally. One is that you will get to know that we're doing 7 sub-genres of comedy, which honestly is something new that the audience has not seen before. And secondly, while we're all here, 9 of us are here, we're just hogging the limelight saying it's our show. Once you see the show, you'll know that it's not our show. It's these 10 awesome contestants that you'll see. You'll see 10 fresh faces of comedy who are the next big thing in comedy. So we'll be out, and there will be 10 new people. So I don't know why you did this.
Really?
We can still be here. We'll be there, but they'll be like, who are these guys? Why are we talking? But they'll be younger. They have better skin.
Stop talking.
All right, next up, Kenny, I have this question to you. So what is there are lots of talent hunt shows out there, especially comedically. What is the most unique thing about Comicstaan for you?
I think the most unique thing is that it wasn't there when I needed it. It would have been a great help to my career, but it came late and they called us, and I think initially when I went in, I thought it's like, oh, you just have to judge, and that's really easy to tell someone they're not funny. But what actually the thing that really connected me was you get to mentor them. So no matter what a heartless person you are, you get attached to the comedians, and you kind of like give them access to a job. I did alternate comedy, so give them access to a field that they thought they couldn't do. Some people couldn't even like wear clothes and fold bed sheets, and now
Yeah, it was awkward.
Wow.
now they're all independent.
That's all. They are all clothed because Kenny taught
Yeah.
them.
So the mentoring
you heard
thing
it
is-
first by Kenny.
Yeah, the mentoring thing is the coolest aspect of the show.
The
Yeah.
mentoring thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have also considered the mentoring to be the best thing, because if it was any other, if it was just a competition where you're just supposed to judge, but here you were personally invested. Each episode, the mentor themselves are sitting there and they're making sure that
Sometimes
I hope-
standing, sometimes standing.
sometimes
Yeah.
standing.
Tanmay, this question is to you. Do you want to maybe tell the different forms of comedy that these guys, you know, Tanmay's like, बुला तो देती पहले, फिर question
नहीं मैं
पूछती.
प्रेस रिलीज में क्या लिखा था याद कर रहा था बस Man, there are so many. I know I did topical with them because topical comedy is about what's going on in the news, and I'm often on it, so I was naturally the perfect person to do it. But it's topical, observational, improv, sketch, storytelling, anecdotal. What else? Have I missed some?
Alternative.
Alt comedy was there. Mystery round. There was one mystery round.
Oh.
अरे बेटा एक तो googly जरूरी. So yeah, these were the many different types of comedy that we mentored the contestants in. It was lots of fun. I the process was I was just like Navjot Singh Sidhu बहुत मजा किया 10 साल because it's a good gig. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next up, Kaniz. Kaniz, for you, what is the most unique thing about this show? We've asked that to everybody, but I just want to know from your perspective, what is the most unique thing about the show?
I definitely did like the fact that there were so many different kinds of comedy, which is not something we've seen even in Western reality comedy shows. Like we had sketch, I did improv, there were improvised stand-up, there was alternative comedy. So there was it wasn't just stand-up. This is not a show where you'll just see stand-up comedy. You'll see all different kinds of comedy. I think that's a very unique part of Comicstaan, is that and then these contestants are put through, all these hoops to try and develop these skills of all these different kinds of comedy in that short period of time.
This is going to find your own future competition, right? How does that feel?
Some people might look at that, they might find it scary, they might find it challenging. I look at it and I say, I find that exciting, all right?
Ooh.
I look forward to getting in a comedy duel with all of these guys, all right? I'd say, bring it on! Bring it on, man!
That's right. Judge turned 4. Now we know how your scores were. So it was good. Yeah. So overall, to answer your question, I really enjoyed hosting it. I enjoyed hosting it with Sumuki. I loved bitching about all 7 of you with Sumuki. She knows so much about me now.
When?
It's unfortunate.
It's sad.
It's sad. It is sad.
Zarurat nahi thi.
We need friends.
Anyway.